Let's get to it. We got limited time here.
Oh, let's get it.
Michael, how are you?
Come on, dude. I'm good.
How's
I'm
it going?
great.
You doing all right?
Yeah, having fun, running around like a crazy person, doing all these interviews and stuff for the movie, and it's all cool, all fun.
I got a question for you. We were talking a little bit earlier about how, and I'm sure you hear this a lot, you seem to play the bad guy an awful lot. I want to know, was there a moment in your life that you looked in the mirror and said, "Oh yeah, I'm kind of the bad guy"?
Well, there's a story that it's a long story. I'll make it short. I'm on my way to school one day talking about trudging in the snow. This Chicago, deep cold. We have ice and snow that's built up 2-3 feet. There's nowhere to walk. So I'm walking on the island in between the cars on my way to high school.
Yeah.
And as I'm walking, I see people going like this, clicking their door locks.
Oh,
and as I'm walking, I'm seeing people click all their door locks, and with each and every click, I can feel the rage inside me getting more and more and more I'm about to explode here.
Right.
And I finally get to my class, get to school. I burst open the doors, get into my class. I had gym first period. I get in there, I rip off my jacket, and there's a full length mirror there in the locker room,
Mm-hmm.
and I look at myself and I'm like, oh, no wonder. Dude, I got the long green army jacket on. I got hair out to here. I got what looks like a goatee, little fluffy stuff. But I look like this teenage real trouble coming down your way, you know.
You would have locked your door too.
I would have totally locked my door too. That's right. And, I'm like, oh, geez, no wonder, man. No wonder they're locking their doors.
But there's an old adage. There's an old adage in film that villains get the best lines. Do you agree with that?
I don't know if I can agree with that, but I do agree that characters that are not complete villains, that are they vacillate in between somewhere in that gray area, are the ones that I dig.
Well, and you're rarely pure evil.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I was talking about that earlier today, and I don't think I've ever played because those characters become those are like cartoons. Mm-hmm. It was just so black and white that I've never played that kind of role before. So.
Mm-hmm. But it's very, very human roles you've always played. I'm curious about Yondu in this sequel to the film, because you don't look like yourself, and you also look like a bit of a cartoon. You have blue skin, you have this red mohawk. I'm sure the makeup takes hours to put on. Do these physical elements help you become more menacing in your role?
No, not at all. I even forget that they're on.
What do you mean?
The makeup. I just forget the makeup's there. I forget the mohawk's there. I just if any outer elements still exist when I'm playing the role, it's the wardrobe. You know, the wardrobe is the first movie. The wardrobe was a real leather. It was heavy. It was. You felt it. It was really gave you this way of walking and everything, and how you move. And the second one, it was the same wardrobe, but they made it the jacket and the duster out of a lighter material, still leather, but a thinner type material, and it. I think they did it because they knew what they wanted, because they had these big fans and they blow and this duster leather long thing would flow and shoot out the just it looked so badass, dude. So badass. And I was like, now I know why they changed material, because this looks way better on camera.
But I want to go back to what you said earlier about that your characters are rarely pure evil.
That's right.
And Yondu is, for all the makeup we just talked about, he is also one of these. He's not a typical bad guy. He has a soft spot for Peter Quill, the film's main character. Right, yeah. He's a villain, but he's got heart. Tell me about walking that line as an actor.
Well, I got to tell you, that's kind of what I'm good at. You know, there's a facade you put up, and and actually, when I think about it, I spent 3 years of training in theater school, and I didn't learn that in theater school. That was learned and taught me when I was maybe 13, 14, 15-year-old growing up in Chicago.
It doesn't sound like it was taught as acting. It
was taught as life.
Yeah.
Because if you lived in my neighborhood and if you didn't look like you were formidable and don't mess with me kind of guy, well, you would be messed with.
Yeah.
So yeah,
But I'm
so
guessing
that was
also-
it. You learn how to put that facade up, and you become hard, and you become tough, and you actually do become hard and tough, and that sort of sticks with you sometimes.
But I'm guessing also when you would be surrounded by these tough guys, and I know this is for true, they'd seem tough, and then I'd spend a little bit of time with them, and you find out that they are more nuanced people.
Yeah.
They're not pure evil.
That's right.
They're not pure
That's right.
danger. And it sounds to me, what I get from your roles almost entirely is that you understand that too. You understand that humans on a grander level are not just black and white. They're not just one thing or another.
Indeed, and of course, no matter who you are, even my first movie, Henry, Portrait of a Serial Killer, that when you look and you watch that role and you hear some of the lines and you see you watch this movie and you watch this character, you realize that this guy he's bad, okay, but wow. What a horrible childhood this dude must have had to have influenced his entire life and may sort of cause this kid to grow up to be this animal, right?
That takes empathy. Mm-hmm. It takes deep empathy. We have a clip from Henry, Portrait of a Serial Killer. That's the second clip there, Alam. This is your character Henry talking about how he kills.
It's always the same, and it's always different.
What do you mean?
It's either you or them, one way or the other. Ain't that right? Open your eyes, Otis. Look at the world. It's either you or them.
That's Michael Rooker in his film Henry, Portrait of a Serial Killer. Michael Rooker's here because he's playing Yondu in the upcoming Guardians of the Galaxy. I could tell that took you back a little bit to hear that. What's it like hearing that?
Yeah, it's a strange little movie, and I was surprised too because I wasn't expecting you to play that clip because there are other clips that most people play are the ones at the table where I talk about killing my mom, right, and all that stuff, and sort of you can see the reaction, how it takes the character back as well. And so both of these, there's a lot of sweet little gems that just make up that movie, and wow, it's a little chilling,
It feels like that role has stuck with you over the years. Is that
Indeed,
right?
it has.
Yeah, how so?
Indeed, it has. It's because most people don't see it, and it's like my private moments when I'm really, It's nice to be quiet. Henry was very quiet personality, very introverted person. And so doing that role, I remember doing that role. And I remember, wow, this is, I'm a quiet guy. Mm-hmm. Nobody knows it.
It's way more terrifying for a quiet bad guy.
Yeah.
They're the scariest of all of them.
Yeah,
I want to talk about another one of your roles. I want to talk about Merle Merle Dixon in The Walking Dead, this expert hunter who survived the apocalypse. He's got a bad temper. He likes to get on people's nerves. Here's a clip from the first season where your character is trying to, and we'll say this is not quiet, just pretty forcefully trying to get everyone to choose him as their leader. Take a listen to this.
All right, we're gonna have ourselves a little powwow, huh? Talk about who's in charge. I vote me. Anybody else? Huh? Democracy time, y'all.
Michael Rooker as the ruthless Merle Dixon in the first season of The Walking Dead. Merle isn't just ruthless, but the character is racist. He's misogynist. In order to play something like that, I want to go back to what we were talking about earlier. Mm-hmm. Do you, as an actor, need to see some redeeming qualities in him?
Not at that time. You don't need to see it. But there are other qualities in him, and really when you think about it, there would never have been any physical altercation on that rooftop if, in fact, the character of T-Dog hadn't challenged him. Mm-hmm. So Merle Dixon, anyone who challenges him, if it's on a fair playing field, they're going to go down. And that's what happened in the scene. It was actually quite a funny scene because we were up there trying to and going through all this physical combat stuff, and it's just no matter what you do, no matter how much you rehearse these kinds of scenes, there's always mishaps.
Yeah, what happened?
Your your fist is going forward and their head's going forward at the same time. It doesn't work that way.
Yeah.
Your head's supposed to go back when
Right.
my fist is going forward.
I'm glad you're not demonstrating right now, by the way. I'm glad you're just telling me.
I think I poked the character of Rick Grimes in the nose in part of that scene. Not that particular part, but later on he comes in.
The Walking Dead has one of those really fervent fan bases, as you know, but you're such a villain in The Walking Dead. I can only imagine. Do you have any strange stories about people coming?
And yet,
yeah,
somehow, people love that character. Even then, all you do all this stuff, and then you see he's been cuffed to the rooftop, right? And worse than a dog, being left out, abused and left out in the cold and the heat to suffer and die. Or worse yet, to be eaten and turned into a zombie walker before he's even able to get out of the cuffs, Mm-hmm. And so the being in that position caused the audience to end up having empathy and just really it's a sad situation.
So how do they treat you when they come up to you when you're at you're in the street and someone recognizes you from The Walking Dead? What are they like?
Oh,
Are they afraid?
Not at all. They're like, oh my God, I love you, man. And so it's kind of cool. It's kind of fun and interesting that people really dig this character and being in the position of being the actor in these roles. It's like, wow.
Do you ever? We've talked a little bit about Henry, Portrait of a Serial Killer,
Yeah,
and we talked about The
yeah.
Walking Dead, and we've been talking about Yondu in Guardians of the Galaxy 2. I know you've been, after Henry, Portrait of a Serial Killer came out, you were offered a lot of roles like him. We asked this question to a lot on the show to a lot of actors. What's his name? Is Kim Coates was his name? We had Kim Coates in here. He's a Canadian actor. He was in Sons of Anarchy, and he plays a lot of bad guys. And I asked him the same question: do you ever get tired of being offered the bad guy roles?
Well, you don't have to take him.
Yeah. Do you ever think about not taking them?
Well, I do, yeah.
Yeah.
That wasn't when Henry came out, and when I was being recognized for Henry, I didn't do a serial killer type role for a long time, or it's just like, okay, I've done it. I'm done with it. I want to move on and do something else, and I did. I ended up getting other types of jobs, and I chose specifically something against that,
Right.
Opposite of that, and just so that I could stretch as an actor, and also so that I'd have other things out there as opposed to because Henry was so poignant. It was really a major deal.
Are there roles out there that you wish you could play that you don't get offered?
Oh, many.
Yeah, like what?
Many. Throw Mama from the train.
But
I love Danny DeVito, so I love, and my humor is the type of humor that's a frying pan over the head humor.
Yeah, right.
Very low bass humor. That's
Right.
me. I love that stuff.
You're a Three Stooges fan, is
A
that right?
total Three Stooges.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Could you see yourself in a
Crowbar in the mouth? I
I have to tell you, between the mechanics of the fist to the face and now my favorite humor is crowbar to the mouth, I have never been this terrified in a radio interview. I'm so happy we have the cameras on.
But it's so funny,
Yeah.
You look at the Three Stooges, and it's just ridiculous.
But I think there's a real interesting contrast is that people know you from these films and they see you as this kind of menacing guy, and then we find out you like silly slapstick humor.
Oh, totally.
Yeah.
Oh, totally. I grew up with it, so it's part of me.
I want to close off by talking about this. I want to bring it back to Guardians of the Galaxy 2.
Okay, yeah.
Peter Quill, this main character, always has his Walkman with him, and he plays this one tape. For this film, it's called Awesome Mix Volume 2. Great 70s era soundtrack, Fleetwood Mac, George Harrison, ELO. So what's your favorite tune there?
You know what? Dude, they're all my favorite tunes. But in reality, when you think about it, these tapes that he's playing, they were his mother's favorite tunes.
Right.
they're not even, I don't even know if they're his favorite tunes. They're his mother's favorite tunes. And they're so, it's just like his mom left him both of these tapes. And in what had been cut from the first film was the moment I said to him, oh, by the way, are you ever going to open that present your mom left you?
Right.
Just those little lines. Yondu says to him before he takes off in his ship and he says, his dad's a jackass. Before that moment, it's when I take the orb from him. I tell him he's afraid. He's always been afraid. You're even afraid to open up that gift your mom left you. So that gift had been wrapped and left for him for many years now, since he was a child, and he won't open it. And so finally in Guardians 2, he has opened the gift. And this, because it was from his mom, he knows it's from his mom. And so these tunes, all of these tunes, whether they're great tunes, everybody loves them and everything, but they have such a deeper meaning in the movies. They all belonged, all those tunes were his mother's favorite tunes, all her favorite music from her lifetime, and given as a gift to him after she's passed.
You know what I love about talking to you today was that I want to go back to every single film. I don't know if you feel this way. I want to go back to every single film that has a bad guy in it and reconsider them after talking to you.
Reconsider the bad guy.
I want to reconsider.
They're not so bad.
Good memoir title. What do you think?
That's right.
Better
Reconsider
than
the bad guy.
better than Crowbar to the Mouth.